Hello, everyone. It is time for The Expendable Show, and I'm your host, The Expendable. So, we're going to get down to business today because I have a really long segment at the end, and we'll get to it. So, first, if you like my show, like, subscribe, and ding the bell. Helps my channel grow, which we're growing exponentially. Thank you, everyone who watches. And this episode is brought to you by Gatsby Trading Solutions. There's that. So I also want to bring up, once again, we are booking for Gary Michaels, Kentucky's very own from Paris. I met him through bullying the police department in Paris. Or at least the top brass. They didn't like me very much. But we got the chief to retire early. What? But we're going to be booking this anywhere. This is a big deal. I don't think anybody realizes how big of a deal this is. Gary Michaels with special guest Russ Nagel, who's all over TV. Phil Donlin, who's on Chicago Fire. So if anybody has a big venue that they want to book these guys, it's only limited for 2026. So you got to book them now or else you're going to miss out. Gary Michaels is funny too. I kicked it with him a few times. He's a hoot. This guy entertains people everywhere he goes. Literally walking down the sidewalk, he'll just grab somebody and go, "Hey, you want to see this?" I ain't figured out how he does some of the stuff he does though. Freaks me out. But let's go into our statistics and then we'll get right into the news stories. Gas is kind of went up a few pennies. So we're at $3.07 a gallon right now. Rachel, what's up? And then Trump's approval ratings, 44.6. The mortgage rates are still sitting at 5.990 for a 30-year fixed. And let me check the Dow. I think we're at 47.2, I think is what it is. 47,311. 47,311 even. Bonnie's in the house. Oh, we got Kentucky in here. Bonnie. And Democrats took a hit on their polls. They dropped down to 33.4%, the Democrat Party as a whole, where the congressional Democrats are still at 19%. Somehow they won elections all over the place. So we're going to talk about that. Now, I'm going to throw this out here real quick because I want to talk about it very briefly. If any of you out there are fans of the show on Netflix, The Witcher, now I just want to express my displeasure with Liam Hemsworth playing The Witcher. I can't stand it. He's not as cool, and he just don't look mean enough. And I struggle with it, and I still watched the whole season, but it made me mad. I wasn't happy. So I'm probably going to watch the last season, the final season, but it's still not going to make me happy. I wish they'd bring back the other guy. What is his name? Jim Caviezel. He was a better Witcher. I think that's who it was. I might be wrong. No, it's not him. Henry Cavill or whatever. That's the guy who played Superman. Bring him back. So we're going to go through some election stuff real quick before we move in, because this just happened and we're seeing a lot of information getting thrown out about that and what happened and whose fault is it. I know whose fault I think it is. So we'll get into that. So just looking at my town in Locust Grove. So we had the city council go up for vote. Yeah, we do vote our city councilmen in here. I know you guys do things different in Kentucky, it seems. But we had Lester Clark, Willie Taylor, Sharon Duncan, Keith Boone, and Isaac Gray. So Lester Clark, Willie Taylor, and Keith Boone were the incumbents. Now, when the election was all said and done, Lester Clark, Willie Taylor were both reelected. So we had 3 seats. The other one was Willie Boone did not get reelected. Sharon Duncan did. Now, I posed this question when I first noticed it to our GOP here in Georgia, and they looked at me like they got everything under control. But after this election, it's clear proof that they don't have it under control. And then you can look into Mississippi, where for the first time in forever, you've seen Democrats take hold of over some red areas. So we're seeing this across a lot of dominant red areas. They're calling Mississippi a battleground state now. When has that ever happened? So, and that might just be them talking shit, but just in my town of Locust Grove. So Keith Boone actually lives right across the street from me. Now, you would think that he would walk across the street because he's outside all the time, mowing his grass, trimming trees. The guy's out, he's an outside kind of guy. You would think he would walk across the street and go, hey, I would really appreciate your vote. And he never did that. I never saw Keith Boone out. And that's part of the problem. He thinks, well, I've been here forever. I'll just get reelected. I don't have to put a lot of effort into it. But you know what? You know who did knock on my door? Sharon Duncan. So she spoke to me for a good probably half hour, 45 minutes. We had a very good conversation. And she's a Democrat. And what I saw, what that told me was the Democrats are going to get ahead of the game, and they're going to get out there and put the footwork in, and they're going to doing all the stuff the Republicans don't do or don't do enough of. So now we have a Democrat in city council. Our mayor is a Democrat, but we have 2 Republican city councilmen. So there's kind of a balance. And that's a problem. Here in Georgia, for the Public Service Commission District 2, Alice Johnson, a Democrat, blew out Tim Echols. I knew it was going to happen. Public Service Commission District 3, Peter Hubbard blew out Republican Fitz Johnson. I knew that was going to happen. Their campaign sucked, and the GOP here, with our new GOP head, is not good enough. Josh Kuhn. He's not good at his job, and half the state of Georgia hates him. So Georgia's got to do some fixing in the GOP, and it's going to be something I'm going to be harping about. And, you look at Virginia. Virginia went blue in the governor. New Jersey went blue in the governor. New York City went socialist. So there's issues going on that if the Republican Party and the GOP doesn't get their shit together, this is going to happen more and more and more, where the Democrats have been snaking their way into these little communities, and they're slowly nibbling away and flipping stuff. It's exactly what they're doing in London, Kentucky. Exactly. It's exactly what they're doing in Paris, Kentucky. It's exactly what they're doing in Pikeville, Kentucky. It's happening in all small towns everywhere. They put their little seed planters in there, and then they just, and then pretty soon you flipped a Democrat, you flipped another one, now all of a sudden your Democrats are winning these seats. I've seen it coming years ago, but the GOP doesn't like to think that far ahead. They like to just do the bare minimum, and then when they lose, they go, well, what happened? Now, there's other issues. So President Donald Trump took to his social media platform, Truth Social, on Tuesday night to weigh in on Republican losses in several key East Coast elections, asserting that his absence from the ballot and the concerns over a government shutdown were to blame for his disappointing results. Trump wasn't on the ballot, and shut down were the 2 reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight. That's what Trump said. I agree, and I don't like it. I don't like his comment, but I agree with what he said. I think his comment's ignorant. I'm not going to lie. I think what President Trump said was ignorant. For one, he's the head of the Republican Party. He should have been doing stuff, or J.D. Vance should have been out there doing stuff. Instead, we're seeing, J.D. Vance running around and giving interviews all over the place of stuff that don't matter. Get out there and keep your party together. Now, this poses problem number 2. if the GOP and the Republicans sit around and wait on Donald Trump to save them every time, like they do realize that Donald Trump's not going to live forever, and that eventually he's going to die, and there won't be a Donald Trump to come save the GOP. There won't be a Donald Trump to come in and endorse candidates so they can win. So they've got to come up with another plan, and they've got to do it fast, because this plan that they're doing is wait on Donald Trump to save the day is not going to last forever, and eventually they're going to fail, because the GOP and the conservatives generally are reactive, and they do not assert any kind of aggression in political campaigns. They just react. They're reactionary campaigners. It's how it's always been and how it'll continue to be until somebody in the GOP comes up with a better strategy and changes it. I'm very, very critical of that. I speak on it all the time. Every political event I go to, I talk about it. I'm like, you guys need to get ahead of this stuff. Stop playing reactionary politics. This is why y'all lose. So the post came as GOP strategists scrambled to interpret the outcome, which saw Republicans underperform like normal in suburban and swing districts that were seen as early tests for the party's messaging ahead of the 2026 midterms. Trump, who remains a dominant figure in Republican politics and the frontrunner of the party's 2028 nomination, used the moment to underscore his claim that Republican success is tied directly to his presence on the ballot. Trump has long argued that his base of voters, often described as highly motivated and fiercely loyal, is key to Republican turnout. His rallies routinely draw thousands, and his endorsements have reshaped primary races across the country. So Donald Trump, once again, he can't save the day all the time. These guys actually got to do some work. Put it in. Political analysts note that Trump's appeal to working class and rural voters have been instrumental in expanding the GOP's base in recent cycles, even as the party struggles in more moderate suburbs. However, the recent elections suggest that without Trump's direct involvement, some of those voters may stay at home. Nobody was motivated to go vote. Nobody. Like I said, in my town, I didn't hear from any of the Republican candidates. They just put signs up and said that's good. No, we want to hear what your platform is. I want to hear what your platform is. And then I had to dig all over the internet to find it. It shouldn't be that hard. The president's reference to the shutdown likely alludes to voter frustration over Washington's gridlock. The debates over the government funding dominated headlines in the weeks leading up to the election day. Congratulations, the Democrats succeeded. They were able to get all this done. So now, with that said, there is turmoil. There is some turmoil at the federal level of Congress. So Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York, she claimed Monday that President Donald Trump blocked Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from here in Georgia, she's from her district's up in Rome, which is like the northwest part of Georgia. She's from running Georgia's Senate seat. She was thinking about running for Senate. Trump told her no. That made her mad. It was a move, she says, prompted Greene's ongoing revenge tour against the GOP. I'd be the same way. I'd be like, fine, you guys don't want my talent? Pfft, screw you guys. Ocasio-Cortez made the comments during an Instagram live stream telling her followers, here's some tea for you. Marjorie Taylor Greene, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. And she is. She's kind of gone off on her own thing. And I think she's doing good at it. Like, I follow her on all her platforms. She's putting out food pantry information everywhere, trying to make sure everybody's informed in her district what to do, where to go during the shutdown. She's doing a great job. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no in the White House, and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate, and she has been on a revenge tour ever since. That's according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So here's the issue. This is that Senate seat specifically, which is John Ossoff's right now. That Senate seat is filled with a bunch of candidates. So right now in the early polling, Mike Collins is the front runner, beating out, I believe, Butch Carter. So we have these, these battles going on already. If Marjorie Taylor Greene throws her hat in that ring, obviously both of them were Trumpers. Mike Collins and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they were both big Trumpers. Mike Collins is good at what he does. He does the blue collar thing well. He brings in donations well. Marjorie Taylor Greene is much of the same. The diehard MAGAs like her. So it was a tough decision. Now, in early polling, a GOP rep is telling me that John Ossoff will beat Mike Collins for that Senate seat. Now, for me, hearing that early tells me, well, that's preposterous. There's tons of time. Why are you guys not making a game plan to beat John Ossoff? He's done absolutely nothing for the state of Georgia. And how is it hard to beat this guy? So Republicans are targeting Ossoff's seat as one of their best pickup opportunities in 2026. Even with a few good Republicans in the Senate, nothing changes. Green wrote on X. No, John Ossoff isn't the real problem. He's just a vote, a pawn, no different than the uniparty Republicans who skip key votes to attend fundraisers and let our agenda fail. Facts. Marjorie Taylor Greene spitting facts. In recent weeks, Greene has stepped up criticism of GOP leadership taking aim at the party's approach to healthcare and ongoing government shutdown, even as Republicans control both Congress and the White House. She's also broken from her party on foreign policy, calling Israel's military campaign in Gaza a genocide and humanitarian crisis. On ABC's The View Tuesday, Greene brushed off any suggestion that her criticism has strained her relationship with Trump. She said, I do love him. When I ran for Congress in 2020, I ran criticizing Republicans and Democrats equally because I come from a working class family. Greene has warned that Republicans could lose control of the House if inflation and everyday costs don't ease soon. And she's right. I mean, we're seeing it at the pump. We're starting to see it in the energy sector, but we're not seeing it in the interest rates where we want them. We're not seeing them at the grocery stores like we want them. There's still some room for improvement. I do think Trump's going to get to it. It's just when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris left you with 1 billion fires to put out, it just takes a minute to get to them. That's my theory, though. So last month, she told Semaphore that she could not see into the future, but I see Republicans losing the House if Americans are continuing to go paycheck to paycheck. They'll definitely be going into the midterms looking through the lens of their bank account. G-Bro, what's up? So now we're going to get into heavy. This is my last segment. We're going to hammer it out because I'm going to go back to London, Kentucky. So I'm going to dissect 100% Randall Weddle's regime. And I'm going to tear it apart because his followers, and usually I call them flunkies, but out of respect, I'm not going to call them flunkies. I'm going to say his followers, his diehard followers, his inner circle, they don't quite understand why the opposition is so upset. Yes, the shooting death of Doug Harless is the number one priority. They don't seem to understand that. Some of them do. I'm starting to hear more and more of them say, yeah, we understand the Doug Harless thing's a problem. So I'm starting to hear that more and more, and that's good, because I think as a community, you would want your law enforcement to make sure they're going to the right property and serving warrants and not going in guns a-blazing on people that don't even have warrants. So, you know, the Doug Harless thing is a huge black eye on the city of London that's never going to go away. They're never going to live that down. It's there. They're going to have to deal with it, and somebody's got to be held accountable. Now, the other thing that the Weddle camp doesn't understand is that when you go and go after the people in your community in mob mentality, like when you see videos of the Weddle side screaming and yelling and trying to bait people to fight out in the parking lot, that's a form of intimidation. That's a crime. Okay? So the only thing that keeps those people from getting arrested for disorderly conduct or intimidation or terroristic threats, the only thing that keeps that from happening is because the police department collects a paycheck that Randall Weddle's part of. So when you look at those things, and and I know because I've been the recipient of that same type of rhetoric. I had somebody from London get into my email and threaten me like, I'm going to shoot you in the face, threatening me. So I don't have any sympathy for that way of doing things. I'm not seeing that violence on the opposition. They voice their opinions. They say some reckless things, but you're not seeing them say, you guys are a bunch of idiots. And well, I mean, they do that, but you're not seeing like the violence part of it. So, and it's the same thing as Republican and Democrat. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is Randall Weddle is running his regime just like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did. It's exactly textbook. And we're allowed to be aggressive, but you're not. But we're just peaceful protesters. It's exactly the same thing. And, you know, they're treating the community badly. These people are getting gang stalked. Tracy, the interim mayor, Tracy, she had her dog poisoned. Bonnie had stuff done to her property. Like, this is the type of stuff that they do. So what I did was I went through and I basically broke down everything that's happened. And I did a very, very thorough forensic look at it. And so I'm going to share that with you. So maybe if any of the Weddleites watch this, that maybe they'll understand what my point of view is that I don't care about the city council not following decorum. That's not a crime. That's just, that's irrelevant. Like, you guys can go cry about the city council all day long. I don't care. Until you bring me a crime that they've committed, I don't have anything to talk about with the city council. Like, it's really not relevant. I have not yet gone into city council of any area that I've been in Kentucky and said, whoa, they're not following the policies and procedures of the decorum. I don't care. I don't care about decorum. If that's all you guys have to complain about, then I'm not interested. If yes, I do. The one city councilman, I can't remember his name, the one who said the N-word in a divorce hearing, I don't like that. I don't want him in. I don't want him in there. If I live in London, I'm not voting for him. I don't want people who have that mindset. So yes, but is it a crime to have free speech? No, it's not. It's up to the voters. So same thing, you know, you guys complain. The city council doesn't choose whether Weddle gets impeached or not. But I'm going to show you why Weddle should get impeached. So Now, we're going to go back into it. Some of this stuff I've already covered on this show, but we're going to go back over it because I've applied some things to the information. So you guys need to understand, and everybody in London for that matter, that Randall Weddle, according to the investigators' reports online, Randall Weddle still can be held accountable for illegal funds given to Andy Bashir. It's still pending. I have not seen anywhere where this is a concluded case. So that's an open investigation that your mayor is still pending. So in late 2022, Weddle helped raise over $500,000 for Bashir's campaign in the Kentucky Democrat Party. He bundled donations from family members, employees, and business associates, many connected to his company, WB Transport, which specializes in reverse logistics. Weddle coordinated closely with Lucas Johnson, which is one of Bashir's fundraiser managers, exchanging 86 text messages in 4 days to secure these contributions. Now, in 4 days, he raised $500,000. How did he do it? He used his own money. He can lie and say that Judy Morgan gave him $10,000, but we all know that's a lie. What he did was he used his own money and just partitioned the payments out and just put whoever's name, anybody he knew. This is Lonnie Owens. Oh, here we go. Blah, blah, blah. He just went down the list of all the people he knew until he maxed it out. And he used his own money. And it all came from his credit card. So it's going to be hard for him to bullshit his way out of that. Now, Weddle used his personal credit card to make contributions in the names of others, an act prohibited under Kentucky law. This is a violation of law. He later claimed he informed the fundraiser of his intent and was told, "Okay, sounds good," suggesting he was not warned about the illegalities. Now, from what I saw from the Kentucky Lantern, is Weddle didn't offer to give the money back until after the story broke. So he was caught, and then all of a sudden he's like, hey, you got to give me that money back. So after media scrutiny in April 2023, Weddle contacted Bashir directly, prompting the campaign to refund $202,000 in excess contributions. The Kentucky Registry of Election Finance filed a complaint against Weddle in late 2023, alleging violations of state law. Weddle insists he had no improper intent. It doesn't matter. But did you mean to get into a car accident and accidentally kill someone? No. But you did it. It happened, and there's consequences. And that he repeatedly asked the fundraiser to correct the issue. So why didn't he sue Andy Bashir's campaign? That would have solved the problem and saved his ass. His attorneys argue the fault lies with the fundraiser. So Weddle's he's trying to throw Lucas Johnson under the bus. Because that's what Weddle does when he gets in trouble. He just finds the closest person and says, throw him under the bus. That's why I wouldn't be in his inner circle, because eventually you're going to get thrown under the bus. And he's saying he acted in good faith to resolve the situation. On September 5th, now this is moving on, September 5th, 2025, the London City Council voted to remove Weddle from office on 3 charges of misconduct. Signing a $5 million mortgage without council approval. That's not right. 2, failing to fill ethics commission vacancies in a timely manner. Like I said, this is city council mumbo jumbo. It's not that important. The $5 million is, but filling ethics commissions, blah, blah, I don't care about that. Refusing to publish an enacted ordinance and delaying its release, blah, blah, blah. So Weddle appealed the decision, arguing the charges were politically motivated and minor. The two of them are, one of them is not. That $5 million is not a minor violation. September 29th, a circuit judge overturned the council's decision, reinstating Weddle as mayor immediately. Then October 21st, 2025, the Kentucky Court of Appeals denied the council's request for emergency relief, affirming Weddle's reinstatement pending full appeal resolution. So everybody who lives in that area knows how that went down. So let's go into the suits. Now, for the Weddleites, your mayor is going to be responsible probably for millions and millions of dollars in lawsuit payouts. That's coming out of the coffers of the city of London. Just so you know, I don't know if you guys understand how these civil suits are going to work, but the city is going to be responsible for paying those out. Make sure you guys know that. So how does that affect things? Well, generally, there's a liability insurance policy in place. I don't know what London's liability insurance policy is what the max is, but when you're looking at the 7 lawsuits, this could get nasty. This could financially hinder your community. Fiscally, Randall Weddle's a liability. And there, I don't understand how you can't see that and how you can deny that he's not a financial liability. So Johnny and Jimmy Phelps, they're former Kentucky State Police troopers. They have a defamation suit. Elijah Jarvis, a Laurel County resident and critic of the Doug Harless police shooting, he is also filed suit. The civil suit filed by Weddle against the city of London and its officials. So there's still money to be divvied out for that. Then there's the lawsuit of former London police officer, Jared Hale. Now, this one did not get enough recognition in the community. This is a big deal. What happened to Jared Hale is a big deal, and we're not making a big enough deal about it. So Jared Hale filed a lawsuit against Mayor Randall Weddle and the City of London in August 2025. The suit alleges defamation, retaliation, and civil rights violations tied to fallout from the Doug Harless police shooting. This suit here is enough to get Randall Weddle impeached. So defamation. So Jared Hale claims Weddle and city attorney Larry Bryson leaked a 911 call recording between Hale and Laurel County Judge Executive David Westerfield to they leaked it to a YouTube channel. The leak allegedly created a false narrative that Hale was responsible for the fatal shooting of Doug Harless, even though Hale was not present during the warrant execution. This caused tons of problems for Jared Hale. The city initially denied a newspaper's open records request about officers on leave. Later, the city attorney allegedly contacted the paper directly to name Hale violating privacy norms. They tried to throw Jared Hale under the bus. That alone, London City Council, that alone is enough to get Randall Weddle impeached. That alone. This is an evil thing that they did to Jared Hale. So Hale alleges that he was harassed based on sex and religious beliefs. That's just as bad as the city councilman saying the N-word. Actually, this is probably worse. This is a violation of civil rights. This is several different violations. I can't believe the ACLU didn't come down for that. I can't believe the NAACP didn't say something about that. Somebody should have told them about that, because the NAACP doesn't just stand up for only black people. They do lots of other stuff too. Hale, he claims he was constructively terminated on March 30th due to unrelenting harassment. It was bad enough that he had to quit because Randall Weddle, as everybody in London knows, Randall Weddle owns the police department, and they act as his little mob enforcers. And they harassed Jared Hale right out the door. I'm glad that Jared Hale stood his ground and filed a lawsuit. That alone, City Council, is enough to get Randall Weddle impeached for good. Yeah, and Larry Bryson is probably one of the worst lawyers that I've ever seen. I wouldn't hire him to do to notarize anything. I wouldn't hire him to be a public notary. I know what you're talking about, Bonnie, but I'm not going to talk about that because that has not been made public yet. So Jared Hale is now employed, from what I understand, with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office. So John Root took him in. Good for him. Which John Root needs to get on his P's and Q's because it sounds like the Weddleites are planning to throw everything they have at him in the election to get their boy elected sheriff. So hopefully he's paying close attention to that. So now the Doug Harless shooting. So the shooting occurred during a search warrant at 511 Van Zant Road, though the warrant was reportedly for 489 Van Zant Road. So it wasn't even the right property, as we all know. Hale had been dispatched earlier in the chain of events, but was not involved in the fatal raid. The leaked audio and social media fallout allegedly led to threats and reputational harm. The city of London destroyed Jared Hale, and they did it maliciously through Randall Weddle. Now, Jeremy Bryant, let's talk about him. It's funny because I'm going to talk about that quote. Whomever you are, I'm going to talk about that quote. I have it down because that was a big one for me. WB Transport was co-founded by Randall Weddle and all his fake mafia buddies. He is currently facing a lawsuit filed by Jeremy Bryant in a Whitley County Circuit Court. The suit alleges mishandling of employee benefits, deductions, and wrongful withholdings of retirement funds. So somebody stole all these employees' stuff. Randall Weddle hasn't spoke out on that. Now, Jeremy Bryant was Randall Weddle's lawyer. Randall Weddle was making Jeremy Bryant do all kinds of unethical things. That's probably going to cause Jeremy Bryant to lose his bar. He's probably going to get a bar suspension pretty soon. Hopefully not, because he has come to his senses, but what's done is done. Back into what I was talking about. So now this doesn't have anything to do with the city of London. This is not a suit against Randall Weddle. It is not a suit against the city of London. It's a suit against WB Transport, the company. So this one will not cause London to lose any money. The other ones will. There's more. And I didn't name them all. I just named the main ones. So WB Transport is a London-based freight and reverse logistics firm. It's a third-party payroll administrator. So here's where it gets crazy. The retirement plan is through Slavic Mutual Funds Management. And from what we have learned is that that's basically an offshore shell company. Randall Weddle was stealing allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly because nothing's been proven. Randall Weddle was allegedly stealing his people's retirement funds and sending it offshore to a shell company called Slavic Mutual Funds Management Corp. Now that's going to turn into a thing. Jeremy Bryant knows that this happened. He's probably known for some time. So Jeremy Bryant claims that while employed from 2020 to 2025, payroll deductions were taken for health insurance and retirement, but the funds were never properly forwarded to the providers because it was stolen. His family was allegedly denied medical services, including a dental appointment for his daughter due to lack of insurance coverage that he's been paying for all this time. And you want this guy in charge of your finances, Weddleites. Like, why? But he's stealing everywhere. Bryant says his 401k balance exceeded $14,500, but he has been unable to access it due to delays and misrepresentations. They've been spinning him on it because they don't have it. So the other one is Lever One. That is another offshore shell company that has no ties to the United States of America. That one of them was for the 401k and one of them was for the health insurance. They allegedly failed to provide proof of proper fund allocations and refused to release the retirement funds. Legal claims: fraud, unjust enrichment, civil conspiracy. Boom. Randall Weddle, like that whole system right there, needs arrested. That needs indicted. Up to $75,000 in compensation. Y'all know I can't read. I had a lady tell me in the comments after my last show, she said what makes your show awesome is that you can't pronounce anything and it's funny. It's like, thanks. It's my reading disability. Now, compensatory damages plus punitive damages and attorney fees. Now, WB Transport is closely tied to Randall Weddle's political and business network. Bryant previously served as Weddle's personal attorney, is now a co-defendant with Weddle in a separate defamation suit. The operations manager of WB Transport, Kyle Gray, declined to comment pending the review of the lawsuit. Now, here's another one that's on there that nobody really talks about. A company called Phoenix Soaring LLC, which is doing business as Mr. Gotti's, is suing Randall Weddle. Apparently, he bought this pizza place in Corbin and backed out of the deal or didn't pay for the deal or whatever. Something happened. And so they're suing Randall Weddle over the breach of contract of some sorts. That one actually, January 20th, will be in court. So now I am going to play a video. This just happened Monday at the city council meeting. I stole it from the news.
Mayor Randall Weddle was reinstated as mayor of London. He told WKYT he wanted to move past any previous disagreements with the council. However, tonight's regularly scheduled meeting started off with some drama.
You know how bad it makes us look good that you guys have not notified my office and then you come in here with your private agendas and say,
Did you notify us, sir, when you hired Strauss and you created a...
Yes, we talked to council members.
I have never heard you once say
Judge, again, you were appointed and then it started impeaching me, so I didn't have time to talk to you.
That is a lie.
Other than impeachment here.
That is a lie.
Mayor Weddle expressed frustration about the council wanting to add an item to the agenda without letting the mayor's office or city clerk's office know beforehand. The council then went back and forth with Mayor Weddle about the city's attorneys and Mayor Weddle's attorneys blaming each other for wasting taxpayer money and not being transparent. None of these issues were on the agenda, causing the public to then push back.
So there's that. It's just one of Weddle's people talking about how awesome Weddle is. So that's a big deal. This is almost a regular occurrence. For those of you who don't know, This is almost a regular occurrence. At every monthly city council meeting, it turns into a circus every single time. Now, oh, dag nabbit. We are going to jump over. Maybe. I don't know what I did with it. All right. Another video, but apparently it disappeared on me. All right, we'll go back. Bear with me, folks. Well, apparently I'm not going to be able to get to do it, but it's a you can find it on Facebook on Mayor Randall Weddle's page. That's where I pulled it from, or it's on his Instagram, where he basically makes a video of two clowns guarding a gate, making fun of the city council. That's what he did right after this meeting. And like at some point he'll get in front of a TV camera and he'll look straight into everybody's eyes and go, well, I'm just hope we can get back to normalcy and bring the people together into unity for the sake of London. But he doesn't do it. Then as soon as the cameras are gone, he's back to doing this kind of trash. And anytime the news cameras get on him, he puts on a show. And I'm noticing it. A lot of other people are noticing it. I even had one of the news people get a hold of me and say, bro, he's really putting on a show, ain't he? I said, yeah, this he's an idiot, complete idiot. And I'm sure one of his relatives is going to threaten me again for calling Randall Weddle an idiot. But when he can't help it. He can't help it. He has to draw as much attention to himself as possible. He has an issue. There's an issue with that. So these things just continue to happen. And Randall Weddle needs to go. If there's ever anything that needs to happen, Randall Weddle needs to go. Now, I went through and I broke down, according to the KRS, every single law that Randall Weddle has violated. Randall Weddle is in violation of failure to publish an enacted ordinance, which is KRS 83A.060, subsection 9. Weddle refused to publish the city's ordinance after it was enacted, then delayed its publication. Number 2, failure to fill ethics commission vacancies. That's KRS 65.003, subsection 1. He did not appoint members to the city's ethics commission in a timely manner. Number 3, unauthorized $5 million mortgage, which is KRS 83A.130, subsection 13, and KRS 61.170. Weddle signed a $5 million mortgage without city council approval. Then we have KRS 61.846, subsection 1, which governs complaints under the Open Meetings Act. Weddle himself filed a complaint under this statute, but his role as mayor complicates the process since he was the presiding officer of the agency in question. He doesn't even know his own procedures. He basically complained on himself. KRS 61.842 to 61.850 Kentucky Open Meetings Act. If Weddle obstructed transparency or failed to comply with meeting procedures, these statutes may apply. Number 6, KRS 522.020 and 522.030, official misconduct in the first and second degree. These criminal statutes could be invoked if any of Weddle's actions were deemed intentional violations of law or abuse of office. We know they are. Randall Weddle likely violated KRS 121.5055 subsection 1 and KRS 121.990 subsection 2 by making political contributions in the name of others to support Andy Beshear's campaign. These statutes prohibit straw donations and prescribe penalties for such actions. So the penalties for that. That is a Class D felony in the state of Kentucky. Each penalty, each violation can lead up to a $5,000 violation, like his restitution would be $5,000 per contribution. The Kentucky Registry of Election Finance initially recommended treating Weddle's actions as unknowing violations, but deferred final judgment pending further investigation. So it's still being pending. Now, let's go into some of the big stuff that's going to apply to the community. Now, the phrase that our friend in the comments is referring to. Randall Weddle said, "Those working in the shadows, I will find out who you are, and we won't deal with it in court. We'll handle it out of court." He said that sitting in the mayor's chair, live to a camera, and distributed it all over the internet. He did it on Facebook Live and posted it to Weddle's official, I think, and his personal page. The quote was interpreted by some as a threat or warning directed at political opponents, whistleblowers, or critics within the city government. It was part of a broader pattern of confrontational rhetoric used by Weddle during city council disputes and public meetings. Most of the people in the city saw that as a threat. This violates KRS 524.040, intimidating a participant in the legal process if the statement was directed at witnesses, council members, or officials involved in legal or disciplinary proceedings. It could be construed as intimidation. He also violated KRS 508.080, terroristic threats if perceived as a threat. While rarely applied in political speech, this statute covers threats intended to cause fear or disrupt public functions. He did that. He also violated KRS 61.848, enforcement of open meetings violations. If the statement was made in retaliation for transparency efforts, it could be relevant under this statute. He also violated KRS 524.040, intimidating a participant in the legal process. Also, KRS 522.020, official misconduct in the first degree. A public servant knowingly abusing their office to harm or retaliate against another. Weddle allegedly used his position as mayor to organize a public spectacle targeting a litigant, possibly with police involvement. That's a textbook misuse of office. He's also in violation of KRS 503.080, abuse of public servant authority. He used public resources, vehicles, personnel for personal vendettas or non-official purposes. He's also in violation of KRS 61.4848, Enforcement of Open Meetings Act. So as we can see, Randall Weddle has violated several KRS. But here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Where the problem lies there is, yes, we could probably take these and send them to the city attorney, the county attorney. Somebody has to be the authority to make that happen, to submit that. I believe the procedure will lie with John Root. Don't quote me on that. But I severely think that there needs to be a prosecutorial referral for these crimes. If you really want to get Randall Weddle, prosecute him on the 5 or 6 crimes that he's committed while in office, abusing his power and abusing his authority. Weddleites, this is why the people, the opposition of Randall Weddle don't like him, because he's committed crimes while in office. This isn't stuff from his past. This isn't stuff, that might have involved him. This is direct violations of KRS. And you guys want to nitpick at the city council about, oh, they violated the decorum. Your mayor can't even follow the KRS. I think you've got a bad apple, and y'all are drinking the juice. Now, it is what it is. If you want to continue down that path and stay with your candidate, by all means, you have the right to do that. However, if you don't, if you want to wake up and go, wow, this guy really has committed some crimes. Do we really want, if we let him go on this, crime will escalate. And then who knows? And there's still probably a lot of truths to his administration that are still going to come out. I'm not going to say probably, there is. There's more. And this is London, Kentucky. And your media is going to continue to take the money from Randall Weddle to get good press. Melissa Jones is going to continue to just attack the city council for just violating decorum. Who cares? Look at the real crime. The KRS is violated. I mean, if the city council is doing something illegal, bring it to me. I'll make videos on the city council, but no one's brought me a single violation that the city council has done other than they don't follow decorum. Nobody cares about decorum. So that is it for my show today. I hope everybody enjoys my forensic breakdown of Randall Weddle and all the crimes he's committed. I will see everyone on Sunday. I'm out. Peace.